Okay, well, I think we can go ahead and get going. First of all, I'm Chuck Carney, Director of Media Relations for Indiana University, and we appreciate everybody coming together for this Zoom news conference to talk about this community and student safety campaign, which is marked by Hoosier Safe 6, which is a website and a campaign, and you don't want to say it too quickly. Let's first of all announce who is on the call. Aaron Predmore, President and CEO of the Greater Bloomington Chamber of Commerce. Kirk White, who's the Indiana University Assistant Vice President for Strategic Partnerships and the IUB COVID Response Unit lead. Jenny Vaughn, Chancellor of Ivy Tech Community College, Bloomington. Dr. Judy DeMuth, Superintendent of the Monroe County Community Schools Corporation. Penny Caudle, Director of the Monroe County Health Department, and Mary Catherine Carmichael, Director of Public Engagement with the City of Bloomington's Office of the Mayor. We will have some statements from each and, of course, take questions as we get to that portion. We can take those from the media in the chat function, or you can feel free to ask them audibly here on the call as well. Let's start, though, with Aaron Predmore. Aaron will give us a rundown of what the website looks like and just some general things about the campaign itself.
Thank you, Chuck. And thank you all for joining us today. We're excited to unveil the HoosierSafe6.org website and talk a little bit about the campaign. Essentially, it began because we were all so very nervous. School was starting back, students were coming back into the community, and we knew those under 25s were going to need some positive reinforcement to help them understand that we care about them as part of our community, but we also know that they have a responsibility to keep all of us safe together. So we realized by combining the work of the Chamber of Commerce and our connections with our members, along with our friends at IU, Ivy Tech, Richland Bean Blossom Schools, Monroe County Community School Corporation, the Health Department of the City of Bloomington, and then also Monroe County Apartment Association. By connecting all of those pieces, we realized we could reach all those students and remind them through a series of graphics and a social media campaign that their behaviors matter and that we all help each other to get through this difficult time. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys now and show you what the website looks like. It's got an opportunity there. So we've got the IU worked on a Real Talk roommate discussion guide. So we've got that there for people to be able to look at. And it's a great opportunity to take control of that conversation as people move back in together to make sure that they're understanding how they're going to navigate COVID-19 safely as roommates. So there's here and things like that people can get information about and then, like I said, work through that conversation together. One of the other parts is as I mentioned, the campaign graphics. These are available for anybody in the community that wants to personalize them for their business or their organization. So this is thanks to IU Studios. So their team worked really hard to pull these together for us. They can be downloaded. Both social media graphics are available, as you can see right here. And then we've got some posters too, so that people can print those out and put those up around their organization, whether it's a school or a business, throughout the community to remind people that, again, their behavior does matter and will impact all of us either positively or negatively. So we're obviously hoping it impacts everyone positively. And then finally on this website, we've got the Safe 6 Pledge, Hoosier Safe 6 Pledge, where people are saying that they're going to do these activities here. They're going to pledge to do this and to keep the community safe. Businesses can do this as well. And that's kind of our part there at the Chamber of Commerce. And if a business is able to do the pledge and say that they're supporting good behavior within their facility and their business, then they can upload their logo and we're going to add it to the website so that people can go and see where all throughout the community they know that they themselves will be safe because of their own behavior under their own control, but also that the place that they're going to be exposing themselves to will also be encouraging that positive behavior. So people can pledge, like I said, they just fill that form out and click pledge now, and then we will populate the website with the rest of the logos as they come through. So that's it for me right there. And I'm just excited to be part of this great team. We threw this together relatively quickly. over the last 5 or 6 weeks and worked through lots of different pieces to make this all come together. The final piece is we are going to have some window cling that we'll be able to give out as well to continue. And again, that can be put up on lots of doors and windows throughout different, whether it's on campus or throughout downtown. So again, helping those under 25s to remember that their behavior really does matter to the health of all of us.
Okay, thanks, Aaron. Kirk, if you want to elaborate on IU's part in all this and why IU is a part of it.
Well, I just want to thank everybody for being a part of it. We, as Aaron mentioned, started this joint effort to work with our partners in the city because this is a message that we can extend to the entire community, not just the student community, but the messages transfer just like the graphics and images do. So as you saw those images that Aaron put up on the screen, some of them have IU student t-shirts and things, but some of them don't. And those are the ones that can kind of be generically used for our other partners, the school corporations and Ivy Tech. And you can put your logo on there or several and show the partnership, how it's truly a team effort. For us, it was our priority to really normalize the student behavior of wearing masks and adhering to the protective safety measures that we've been talking about all summer. The 6-foot distancing, wearing of masks, washing your hands, and just generally following the guidelines that the CDC, the state, and the county have been able to put out. They've been proven to really slow the spread. And now we've seen the clear evidence that when a community gets behind a campaign like this, and it becomes the right thing to do, the cool thing to do, that infection rates drop. There's no question about it now. The numbers are there. And we've seen that in Monroe County because of the cooperation that we've had. In general, we wanted to tell people that really the student, not IU, is the hero. So students, community members, individuals are the heroes in this campaign. Students should see that their peers are taking care of each other. And we wanted this feeling where, as you saw in the posters, that this is really being able to show empathy towards others, to protect others, and to be part of this greater than yourself effort. Show self and safety positive behaviors in a positive light, positive emotions. The campaign uses vibrant colors. Creative execution must be flexible and customizable here, as we've seen. So it is just all of that, and we hope that we can continue along this path of keeping the physical distancing indoors or out, the 6 feet, the joint effort between all of our partners. People see the whole community's behind it. We're hoping they don't want to be left out, and that's the concept. So thanks to our partners. Let's continue on this great path.
All right, thank you, Kirk. Dr. DeMuth, speak to how this fits with MCCSC and its mission this fall.
Sure, thanks, Chuck, and a great thank you to Indiana University, to Aaron Predmore with the Chamber for allowing us to participate in this. Our journey began in this in March and April, and the one thing I've learned about this is, we have the best community, and our community is counting on each and every one of us to make sure that we stop the spread. And we've had opportunities to work with COVID and around COVID, and it's all incumbent upon us. So by these 6 simple techniques, if as we already heard, if we can normalize those things, our students and our community will be a healthy community. We can stop this spread, and we can make sure that our kids are able to have the education they deserve. So again, our community is counting on us. We take this very seriously. We've prepared, again, since March and April. We're excited about receiving our students back at some point in time, and we want to make it the most healthy community we can, again, by participating in this organized strategy to normalize what we know will stop the spread. So again, our thanks from the Monroe County Community School Corporation.
All right, Chancellor Vaughn, how's this working at Ivy Tech?
Well, thank you so much, Chuck. And we're excited to be with everybody today. And we at Ivy Tech are super proud to be part of this great campaign collaboration. And we want to thank Aaron in particular, but the entire chamber team for making it all happen and bringing us all together. So Ivy Tech Bloomington shares IU students who enroll with us as guest students. And those students are taking 1 or 2 classes on our campus while they're also enrolled at IU. And we also have our shared Hoosier Link program where students live in the dorms at IU and they take classes with us. And additionally, we serve many students in our school corporations through dual credit. And some of these same students' parents are enrolled here on our campus. So it made sense for us to be a part of this wonderful campaign, to share the same message. We are all in this together, as others have said. And we've printed many of the campaign graphics with our own, as Kirk said, our own Ivy Tech logo, our own masks, and pictures of students in Ivy Tech t-shirts and those kinds of things. And we place those all around campus. So again, it's an honor to be a part of this campaign together. It made a lot of sense for us, obviously, as community members, in joining in this collaborative message and campaign, and to partner with our colleagues like the Chamber, the Health Department, Indiana University, the city, and of course our wonderful school corporation. So we're just pleased to be a part of it, and it's a lot of fun too at the same time, sharing these messages of being safe and taking care of one another. So thank you for letting me be part of this.
And speaking of the health department, Penny Caudill, it seems that we've been speaking about messaging on these things for a long, long time now, and I guess about 5 months at this point. So how does this fit into that messaging?
Certainly, I will echo everything that's been said prior to me, that it's a wonderful collaboration, and happy to be a part of it, and honored to be a part of it. The mission at the health department is to protect and to promote and to improve the health of all people in Monroe County. And so people who are here temporarily, people who lived and were born and grew up here, people who come to Monroe County, sometimes for school and never leave because it's such a great place to be. So we want to take care of all of us, and not one agency or one person can control this virus or what's happening, but collectively we can make a huge impact. And I believe that the campaign is important because our behavior is important, not just for our personal safety, but for those around us, for our friends and our family, for our parents, our grandparents, and for our fellow students. That if each one of us does our part, and everyone else does their part, we will get through this better and faster, I hope, than if we don't. And we know that people in their 20s and people in their 20s and 30s certainly are accounting for most of our positives at this time. Many of them are not symptomatic, but they're also not all staying out of the hospital. And sometimes we have this sense of when we're young and we're in our 20s or 30s, we think that we're invincible. Not to say that people who are younger or older than that don't sometimes feel that way too, because that can happen. But we want to know that people to understand that while many people may have mild illness, not everyone does. And so if we want to stay in classes, if we want to get the education that we're paying for, if we want our community to be open and vibrant and our businesses to be open and successful, then we each have a role to play in that. And we can do that by following the guidance, following the regulations. That's crucial. All of the things that we talk about that I know people have heard before and have already been said, maintaining that physical distance of 6 feet so that we're not sharing those droplets that come out of our mouth when we speak or we cough or we sneeze or we sing. Wearing a mask is required. Locally we have a mask mandate. Right now the state has one, but whether there's a mandate or not, we know that they can help us. So wearing those masks when they are appropriate, when we can't maintain 6 feet distance, when we're out in public, when we're around people who aren't part of our immediate family or household, all of those things are very important, along with washing our hands frequently, cleaning and disinfecting, and certainly staying home when we're ill, or if we have been a close contact to somebody with COVID, to quarantine, to get tested as appropriate, and to follow the rules and the guidance that's given so that we're not inadvertently spreading the infection to others. So we're happy to be a part of the campaign and, again, help normalize face covering behavior and preventative behaviors, because we feel that it's crucial, it's important, and we are in this together.
Okay, thank you very much, Penny, and we'll be happy to take your questions here in just a moment. Let's go next to Mary Catherine Carmichael, the City of Bloomington, talk about the city's part of this campaign.
Hi, thanks, Chuck. Hi, everybody. Thanks to everybody who's watching today and everybody who's on the panel. There's one thing that we've learned more than anything else probably throughout this pandemic, and that is the key to success is absolutely partnerships. And we so value the partnerships of all the organizations represented here today, and some that reach beyond this too. We referenced the Apartment Association. They've been terrific. And think about all the lives they touch in Bloomington, and to have them putting out our messaging to each of their residents has just been amazing and helpful. And again, part of that team, those partnerships that are working together. So we're just so grateful. This is kind of a big puzzle that just kind of grows as time goes, and that's okay, because we're going to keep putting that puzzle together until we get through this thing. And this form of these communications that we're talking about today, just another puzzle piece. We want to meet people where they are, and we wanted to do something that would be kind of specifically targeted to students, that might be kind of funny, a little cheeky. And we thought Practice Safe 6 was certainly that. And, if you can reach people through humor, great. We're let's go. Let's do it. That's fine. As long as we can get that message out and get it sticking in people's minds, that's terrific. And so that's really one of the reasons we're so happy to be a part of this particular campaign. And have been supportive throughout the process, and want to continue to be so, and to help push this out in the community. Just a quick reminder, while I've got attention, the mayor did issue an order on Friday for inside city limits, which is where most certainly students live, IU students and most MCCSC students. So please limit those private gatherings to 15 people. If nothing else, that's a reminder, hey, let's keep those groups small. We're all going to be safer if we keep those group sizes small, while we continue to do all the other important things that Penny just did such a great job of going into detail about. So I'll leave it there. I'll be brief. Just thanks again, certainly to Aaron and the Chamber and everybody else who kind of brainstormed and came up with this campaign. We're so tickled to be a part of it, and thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mary Catherine. Let's go to some questions. First of all, from Dave Askins from the B Square Beacon, asking, how will you judge the success of this campaign? Are you going to be counting window clings and whatnot, or does this basically boil down to one metric, namely, does Indiana University have to shut down in-person instruction? So a few people, I think, could answer that. Aaron, let's start with you, and Kirk, I think on the IU part, maybe that would go to you.
Just to continue with the humor, Dave, I think that if we count window clings, that'll that may take the wind out of our sails a bit, especially with all the window clings that have been going on since the pandemic happened. We've been cleaning everything, trying to post how much people are supportive of whatever's going on. But no, in all seriousness, we're going to be looking at the pledges. We're going to be uploading the logos, encouraging businesses to be part of that. And that's certainly going to be part of our metric. I do think you're right, though, that the overall metric of success is whether or not our community is able to fully reopen. So you mentioned IU, which is a hugely important part of our community. We also have the schools that we're eager to get our kids back in full time and able to be with their teachers, and that's K through 12. Ivy Tech wants everybody there back on campus. We want to be able to go to sporting events. We want to be able to eat at restaurants. We want to do all the things. And so we really want to be able to keep our community safe, have a low incidence of a low infection rate, obviously, and be able to continue to reopen our community safely. So I think that's our larger metric that we'll be measuring success.
Kirk, you want to add on to that?
Yeah, thanks. Well, I think this is one piece of the big picture of how successful we're going to be with campus operations this fall. We've provided all the tools. We've given 2 masks to all of our faculty, staff, and students. We're providing them to visitors. We've retooled our classrooms sizes. We've canceled a lot of events. We've changed our dining operations. And so I see this as one piece in the bigger campaign with the community. What we really wanted to see here was how well we could transfer a lot of that work we were doing on the campus to off campus, and how well our business leaders and how well the rest of the community would be comfortable with the kind of mandates that we've set for our university community. And so I think the success here is the fact that everyone is on board, and that businesses want to be successful. Businesses want to stay in operation, and most have embraced this as well. That one metric about whether we need to close operations, that's just one. How well this works is one thing that would factor into that. There's a list of like 18 different criteria that we're monitoring on a daily basis as to how effective we're going to be in the bigger efforts of keeping everybody safe.
And fair to say, Kirk, we had a relatively quiet weekend over last weekend, which was good to see after, of course, we had a couple of very highly publicized incidents the week before.
That's right. We feel like students are getting the message, because it's not business as usual, and the community is getting that message and scaling back and trying to be more responsible, I think.
There's a question here, and Dave, I think this is probably going to be one we may want to address further in the Friday call, not to punt it down the road a bit. But there's a question regarding the BPD and wearing of masks. I'll ask Mary Catherine if she has any response to this about having a conversation with BPD and the report that the Bloomington police would not be wearing masks. And if there was a conversation, if there is any perspective you wanted to share with BPD at this time.
Hi, thanks for the question, Dave. I appreciate it. Yeah, this has gotten a lot of attention. Actually, BPD takes mask wearing extremely seriously, so much so that they had masks made for all of their employees with the BPD badge on the mask. They provided those to all employees, and they have been asked to wear those in all the appropriate settings that we've already talked about on this call. I believe the officer who was filmed was sitting in his squad car taking care of some paperwork when he was approached, and he may have not appreciated that a whole lot as he was trying to get some work done. I think we've all been in that situation where we've been interrupted and maybe not been super thrilled about it. But at any rate, BPD did release a statement about this yesterday. It's on their Facebook page if you'd like to reference that. I don't want to take a lot of time on this call to get into a lot of detail, but of course, BPD takes mask wearing very seriously. Their stock and trade is public safety. So they're going to push that among all their employees, and they do. So thanks for the question.
Thanks, Mary Catherine. And happy to take more questions here, but I'll go back to Aaron here about the genesis of where this started. I mean, the conversations began some time ago about sort of extending the messaging. Can you talk about how all the partners kind of came together on this. I mean, obviously you have connections with all these partners, but nonetheless, getting everybody moving in the same direction is an effort.
And typically I would say that that can be true, Chuck, but I would also say that in this time, everyone volunteered and immediately jumped on board. So it was an easy collaboration. People were able to bring their staff together. We brainstormed really well to come up with a campaign with, like Mary Catherine said, that was a little cheeky to have fun with it, but also to recognize that our young adults don't just want to be fussed at or finger wagged at, but they also are capable of great empathy and compassion towards each other and the rest of the community. And we wanted, essentially the impetus for the entire campaign began when we started to recognize that students are coming back, that we were both excited and also nervous about that. So we love that our students are part of our community of all ages. The returning to school every year is something that everyone looks forward to, whether it's buying school supplies or getting yourself organized to start a new year. But this didn't feel very exciting because we didn't quite know what we were going into. So the campaign started because we were coming from a place of worry, but then also recognized that these students that we were worried about were also capable of making their own choices. And we know that we care about them and want them to make good choices, not just for themselves, but that would impact the whole community. So we reached out to IU and started that conversation there, and then Ivy Tech as well, Health Department, City of Bloomington, the Apartment Association, and then realized that we could easily add in MCCSC and RBB as well, because they're also going to be part of this entire kind of ecosystem of education within the community. And then the businesses are happy to both support our education systems and be part of that every day, so that everyone's going to graduate ready to go, but also know that they're part of it now too, as students are going back to school.
Okay, and Dave has a question sort of related to what you alluded to about the name of the campaign. South Dakota had a recent campaign against drug use with the slogan, "Meth, we're on it." It got a lot of attention, maybe the wrong kind. It's memorable though. Were there any names for this overall campaign that were considered and rejected for similar reasons? And I'll fess up, I may have suggested some of those.
I think maybe so. I will not reveal the full conversation of brainstorming, but we did have fun trying to find ways to be less stuffy and fussing. I will say that was certainly the intention of this campaign.
Okay. And we've got time here if anybody has any other questions, but we may wrap here in a few. Dr. DeMuth, I wonder if you can discuss about, obviously you're now in a holding pattern for in-person, but does this help for preparing for having students back in?
Yes, absolutely. Again, our students are online right now, but we're anxiously awaiting bringing some of them back on campus and the rest. And so this just helps reinforce all of the behaviors, if you will, that we'll be working with our children on. And some of our children can self-direct themselves pretty easily and will jump on board right away. And we know that the little ones, we're going to have to direct and make sure they're aware. So this just, again, reinforces everything that we need to make sure that our students participate in to enjoy a safe environment. And I loved what Erin said about being an ecosystem, because we certainly are. Not only are we an ecosystem, but we're also we're an engine really for the economy. And so the more quickly that we can get our students back, I think that's going to really help our families and our parents. And it's this campaign really helps to, again, reassure everyone that these are the kinds of behaviors that you have to exhibit to make sure that all of our kids are safe and our families are safe.
And Chancellor Vaughn, in the early going, I mean, I can say from walking around the IU campus yesterday that it was fairly impressive with the mask usage and people adhering to distancing. How are you feeling with Ivy Tech at this point?
Well, everybody, all employees and all students had to affirm that they understood the policies that we have in place for social distancing as well as wearing masks. So when a student went to start their classes on Monday, when they opened up their portal on their computer, they would have seen that affirmation and pledge basically that they needed to sign, as well as all employees over this last week or two. We've been doing that. So I've walked around greeting students at the front door all around campus, and everyone is doing their part, wearing their masks, social distancing, and all of those different things. And we are offering a variety of course offerings. So we've got many that are online and many too that are face-to-face. So we've got about 20% of those classes are face-to-face in our building right now. All social distanced. I walked into one of the classrooms and everybody was exactly where they needed to be. And all of that. It was great to see students back on our campus. And then, of course, we have a hybrid kind of course offering. So half of the time they might be here in the building in person on campus, and then the other half of the time they'll be taking their class online. So based on what I'm seeing good progress, and all of us are taking part in ensuring that students and employees are doing the right thing. So we're all in this together for sure.
Okay. Aaron, I think we'll go ahead and start to wrap, but I wonder if you want to point people again back to the website and the resources that they can find there.
Certainly, Chuck. So for everyone, it's HoosierSafe6.org. And on that website, you'll be able to take the pledge, download the graphics to be able to personalize it to your organization, and also be able to, if needed, use the roommate discussion guide to be able to help as you settle into the Bloomington community and make sure that you've got all of your bases covered and you're ready to be here with all of us in a safe and healthy way.
Okay. Well, thank you to all the partners in this, to everybody for joining us today. And HoosierSafe6.org is where you can find all this information. Thanks, everybody, and have a good day.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.